Then everything written on this piece of paper is completely meaningless. Ah, that's it. That's the note. Ah. No, you see, this is something completely different. This is my top secret list of groceries to buy. Then you are the one who took Miss Hart's note. I'm a huge fan of Juan's, that's why. That infamous puffy-haired whippersnapper. She's working with that evil on guard. She said so to herself. On guard, I'm his sidekick. She was so happy, smiling like a silly duck. I was only checking what she had written. Edgy Poo, you believe me, don't you? I was only trying to help out like the angel I am. It's only one little piece of paper. I've never taken anything else before. You really should come with a supply of cheese to match your vintage wine. Edgy! Well, it was only a piece of paper. I suppose we could overlook this just once. She looks like she's really sorry. Should I forgive her? Pile on more pressure. If I let upon her now, she'll get away. I have to find some way to inflict a deafening blow to the prosecution. Witness. You said that the only thing you stole was that note. Is this correct? Stole? Why don't you just listen more carefully, you annoying brat? I saved this piece of paper from the terrible, lonely trash can, that's all. You're lying, damn it, and I can prove it. Are you putting my credibility under scrutiny again? Miss Oldbag. I don't believe that the note is the only thing you stole that night. Miss Oldbag, that note was with a camera inside its case, wasn't it? A camera? Yesterday, Lotta Hart was raging a huge stink over her camera. She kept saying something like, my sweetie $1,600 camera disappeared on me. Why, witness! What is it, Gramps? If you have the note, then it is only logical that you have the camera too. Grrr. Looks like you found me out again, Sonny. Is this the camera you're looking for? That's... What? Even though I look like this, I'm still a person, you know? I still eat meals like you. I fall in love and borrow things from people. I think your definition of borrow is a little off. I saw that woman's business card, and that's when I noticed it said, Slimebag Celebrity Photographer Extraordinaire. Well, when I saw that, I had to know what sort of pictures she'd taken. I'm a professional security guard. It's my business to know these things. Bailiff, check this camera's photos. Hurry. We must examine the evidence. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, what do we have? There's only one photo that seems to be relevant to this case. Please present it to the court. Oh, this is the Nickel Samurai. See, I told you. That's the guy I saw. This proves that the witness was not lying earlier about the matter. This photo itself does not prove that the person in it is the defendant. However, in his own confession, Mr. Ongard clearly stated that at the time of the murder, he was still in his Nickel Samurai costume. If that's the case, then this Nickel Samurai is the defendant. Fuck. How did it come to this? I think this brings us to the end. We've examined every piece of evidence thoroughly. Final comments, Mr. Wright? The court will consider them before we close. At least he knows us well enough that he's like, okay, any last objections? Do you agree that this photo is decisive evidence against your client? Hold on, let me look. Wait. Hello? Okay, I think I see. No. If this photo really is decisive, then we're done for. But if I heard an objection implode, then I would put my life in jeopardy. I can't make a mistake here. There's only one road out of this mess. This photo that Lotta took, there's something strange with it. There's something strange with this photo. I knew this was coming, right? Your thoughts, Mr. Edgeworth? I think we can all agree there is nothing strange with this photo. There's no way for the defense to debunk this photo, even with a bunker buster. Debunk with a bunker buster? Is that what you're planning to do, Mr. Wright? Anyway, please look at the photo one more time. If you really believe you can honestly find something wrong with this photo, then you should only need one chance, correct? Well, I have to find something wrong with this photo. I can't let this chance go by. Where in the heck did she take this photo from anyway? It's all out of focus. Why can't you take a good shot, especially when it counts? Now then, let's hear your objection. What about this photo is strange? The pants. I would like to direct the court's attention to this one area right here. What are you pointing to? His ankles? If you could see this person's ankles, that would be one thing. However, you can't. And what does that mean? The costumed person in this photo could not have been Mr. Engard. What is the meaning of this? I wonder if you would care to elaborate, with actual facts, that is. Let's take a look at the Nickel Samurai's poster. Please pay particular attention to the area around the bottom of the hakama. His socks. You can see his socks. Exactly. However, in this photo, the Nickel Samurai is clearly holding his hakama up just to walk. There's only one explanation for this. The person inside this costume is clearly much shorter than the defendant. Alright, I think I've turned things around. What the fuck? Alright, I think I've turned things around for myself this time. That's curious. Huh, what is? Edgeworth is unusually calm today. That's true. He's just letting the trial run itself, as if he's only along for the ride. Along for the ride? What do you mean by that? I can only guess that perhaps he doesn't feel under attack at all. He doesn't feel under attack? Then I haven't damaged his case at all? Mr. Edgeworth, where does this leave us? If the person in this photo is not Matt Engard, then everything the prosecution has tried to prove has become meaningless. I figured it would come to this. What? Right. I have something I want to ask you. Will you marry me? I think you have proven that the person inside this costume is not Matt Engard. In that case, who is this a photo of? Who is the person wearing the Nickel Samurai costume? Adrian Andrews? She's the only other one. Don't stress out over this, Phoenix. It's very simple. Well, you should be focused on his Edgeworth's attitude, don't you think? Yeah, why is he so calm? Mr. Wright, let's hear your thoughts. Who is the person in this photograph? Adrian? Adrian Andrews? If you want to know who that Nickel Samurai is, it's none other than this woman. And why would you say that it must be Miss Andrews? What in the world points you to her? For starters, she's short. That's me. I'm short. Sorry, I have a bunch of my fucking hair on my... And she can freely move in and out of Mr. Engard's room. Finally, she had dinner with Mr. Engard that night. And how does that all add up? It means that it makes it very easy for her to get a certain item. A certain knife with Mr. Engard's fingerprints all over it. The knife that was used as a murder weapon. Why don't you just say what it is you want, Mr. Wright? I have to do this now. This is my last chance to turn this around. The defense moves to indict Miss Adrian Andrews in the murder of Juan Carita. It was Miss Andrews who tried to frame the defendant for the crime. Order! 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 It looks like this trial has hit a most unexpected development. Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor? This court is issuing a subpoena for Miss Adrian Andrews. A verdict cannot be passed without first hearing her testimony. Alright, this is it. This is kind of bad for us. Huh? What do you mean? If Adrian Andrews is summoned to court as a witness, it means the trial will go on for another day. One more day. Ack! If I don't get a verdict today, then Maya... Now then, we shall set Miss Andrews' testimony for tomorrow. What am I supposed to do? The judge is about to adjourn the court. I don't know. What the fuck do we do? Do we... Now then. Please, Your Honor, continue the trial. You must pass a verdict today. I can't do that. We cannot hear Miss Andrews' testimony if she is not... I abhor wasting such valuable time. Edgeworth? Your Honor, I request that you please continue with today's trial. But we cannot continue due to the unexpected development. Unexpected development? I think you underestimate me, Your Honor. And what do you mean by that? That Mr. Phoenix Wright would slave his way to subpoenaing Miss Adrian Andrews is all happening according to plan, even if Wright was a bit slow to catch on. What? What is the meaning of your statement, Mr. Edgeworth? Miss Adrian Andrews is currently waiting in the prosecution's lobby. She is the next witness. Everything was planned out in advance by that man? Somehow, I knew there was no way Edgeworth would overlook Miss Andrews. Looks like this battle's far from over. Exactly. Very well, we will call the next witness. However, before we proceed, we shall take a 10-minute recess. Please prepare your witness in that time, Mr. Edgeworth. The court will now take a 10-minute recess. Damn, Edgy, he's got us. Boo Boo has got us. Excuse me. Dude, I can't believe that Adrian... No way! Not cool and collected Adrian Andrews. She's your manager. It would have been very easy for her to pull this off. The only person who had easy access to the knife you used at dinner was, well, her. So, after the ceremony, during the break, huh? I was sleeping like a log the entire time. See, she could have also easily planted that blood-covered button in your Hakama. Because she was the one that came to wake me up? Then, dude, you're saying it really was her? Yes, she is the real killer. She was the one who murdered Juan Carita. But why? I thought she was buds with Juan. She has her own agenda. Her own agenda? What are you talking about? I'm sure you'll see by the time this trial's over. It'll be alright. I'll get you acquitted by the end of today. Get me a verdict that's refreshing like a spring breeze, okay, Mr. Lawyer Dude? Phoenix. You think her motive is related to Celeste's Impax's missing suicide note, right? Yes. Miss Andrews depended on Miss Impax as her strength and reason to live. But then Miss Impax suddenly killed herself. It sounds like she left a suicide note, and the person thought to have hidden it is Juan Carita, the victim of this murder. And that's why I think that Miss Andrews got close to Mr. Carita all to get the suicide note back. That sounds plausible. But one thing bothers me. What? Who was it that first told us about their relationship? Better stated, Miss Andrews' dependency issues with regards to Miss Impact's. It was Edgeworth. It looks like he's still in command of this ship. Don't let your guard down just yet. Shit. Court will now reconvene. Now then, Mr. Edgeworth, if you please. The prosecution calls the witness subpoenaed by this court. Miss Adrian Andrews, the person who discovered the crime in Mr. Kurita's room. What is your occupation? I am the manager of the defendant in this case, Mr. Matt Ongard. I see. Now then, before we begin, Your Honor, I have one request. Yes, sure, what is it? I'm sure everyone in this room is wondering the same thing, and would love to find out about my relationship with the victim. After all, it was the topic of a certain weekly magazine recently. Ah, no, I've no idea what you mean. I've never even heard of Gossipland. If the judge was ever a prosecution witness, he'd do all my work for me. Anyway, I was wondering if you could please tell us about your relation to the victim. Yes, I was seeing Mr. Kurita. I was also aware of the rivalry that existed between Matt and Juan. But this was a private matter between Juan and myself. So it was a fry and bait matter. Or was that bait and fry? Reminds me of fishing. But I didn't kill him. No one is accusing you of that. I think there's someone who would beg to differ. I think we all understand your relationship with the victim now, Miss Andrews. Very well then, witness. Please testify to the court about what happened when you discovered the murder that had taken place. When I found the body. It was time for the show to start, so I went to get Matt from his room. After that, I went to Juan's room. And there was his dead body. I was in shock. What I saw was, naturally, the same exact scene as in the crime scene photo. I felt as though I was about to faint, so I poured myself a glass of juice. You poured yourself a glass of juice? Yes. Sadly, I didn't remember not to touch things at the scene of the crime. And I disturbed the crime scene by moving this one thing. And that is when the fingerprints on the wine glass were made, Your Honor. I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Phoenix. She is one cool and collected customer, and she has the brains to match. Yes, I know. In order to catch a person like her, you have to avoid head-on confrontations. You should disrupt her pacing. Disrupt her pacing? She's the type of woman who is easily thrown off by things inconsistent with her thinking. So you have to attack when she least expects it. The instant you let up on your offense is the instant this trial is over. Understand? Damn. And what was Mr. Ongard doing at that time? He was taking a nap. He was worn out from his mini performance as the Nickel Samurai during the ceremony. Mr. Ongard did say he was taking a nap. Then I guess you could say it could not have been taken out of his room, yes? Excuse me? It? What are you... Right. I thought years of school would have taught you how to construct a sentence. If you can't make a sensible sentence with a subject, then I'll make one for you. Watch. Did you, Miss Andrews, remove Mr. Ongard's knife from the room? No. Subject, verb, object, right? Did you skip basic grammar? The witness may continue. Yes, bully me. After that, I went to Juan's room. And why did you do that? As a friendly gesture, Juan was to make an appearance with all the other heroes. So the show was supposed to be a show of friendship, huh? Is that the only reason? I beg your pardon? What are you implying? You had a certain goal in mind when you started to get close to him, correct? So perhaps you had a more personal matter to discuss with the victim? Sorry, but I didn't have any such intentions in mind at the time. I can't get her to talk without a strong piece of evidence, I guess. May we continue now? Witness, what did you see when you got to his room? And there was his dead body. I was in shock. You were in shock. What? Was I not supposed to be? Miss Andrews is a very calculating person, and despite how close they were, I doubt she had romantic feelings for Mr. Kurita. Anyone randomly stumbling upon a dead body would be in shock. Oh. What the fuck? There we go. And you can't seriously expect that a young beauty like her would not be shocked. Somehow, I don't think beauty has anything to do with being shocked or not. I see. What I saw was, naturally, this is the photo you're referring to, correct? Yes, the one with the knife lodged in his chest. And the guitar case was like this too. Yes, it was open and empty, of course. And then, what did you do next, witness? I felt as though I was about to faint. Juice. Yes, there was a bottle of tomato juice on the table, so I helped myself. But you didn't drink any of it, did you? Huh? There were no lip marks left on this wine glass to suggest that anyone drank from it. I wasn't feeling terribly great, so I set the glass down without drinking it. Miss Andrews, I would like to confirm with you one more time. When you discovered the dead body of Juan Kurita, you were in great shock. And that is when you poured yourself the glass of juice, correct? And what of it? My mind really was a complete blank at the time. Your mind was a complete blank. I didn't think that was possible for you. Aren't you rude today? I was so dazed that I made one careless mistake. That one thing. What one thing? Never mind. It's no big deal. What was she starting to say just now? Yeah, we can't let up. We gotta grill her. Miss Andrews, I'm convinced that, as you've said, you made a mistake at the crime scene of the crime. What I really want to know is what this mistake was. Actually, so would I. I'm sorry, it's kind of embarrassing. When I set the glass down on the dresser, I accidentally knocked the flower vase over. Flower vase? Are you talking about the one on the floor in the crime photo? This mess of glass shards? It was originally on top of the dresser, but when I bumped into it with my elbow, it fell onto the guitar case. But why did you withhold such an important piece of information? I'm sorry. I thought that since the crime scene was already in disarray, that people would simply assume the vase was just another part of the mess. Girl! It looks like yet another fact has come to light here. Please add this and anything else you have to reveal your testimony. I'm sorry, but I have nothing more to add. I didn't touch anything else. I was the one who knocked the flower case over, where it fell onto the guitar case. The guitar case. But there's only water on top of the lid. Hold on. This thing's getting sussy. You testified that you knocked the flower vase over. Is this correct? Yes. And you are sure it fell onto the guitar case. Is there some problem with what I said? It's not some problem. It's a major problem. It's true that the top of the guitar case was wet with water. However, that's exactly what is so strange. Miss Andrews, You testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case. However, if that was true, the case should have gotten wet on the inside, not the outside. That's very true. Furthermore, there is one other strange thing about this guitar case. And what is that? Let's take another look at the crime scene photo. The remains of the vase are scattered on the floor. And what is wrong with that? If the guitar case was open when the vase fell, the glass shard should be inside, not outside the case. What is your point, right? That the case was closed at the time the vase was knocked over? Is that all? No. Think back to what Miss Andrews testified to. She said that other than the vase, she didn't touch anything else. Yes, that's right. She did implicitly say she didn't touch the guitar case. But this whole matter with the guitar case is a dead end. The bright red guitar was found at the studio. It has no bearing on this case at all. That may very well be. However, the empty guitar case does seem to have no relation to this case, doesn't it? It seems that there is no deeper meaning to the guitar case. Well, Mr. Wright, do you think we need to hear more details about the guitar case? Well, yeah, right? We have to keep pushing her. Like Maya, like Mia said. Make her testify. The empty guitar case. No. Ugh. I believe this is a crucial piece of the puzzle. I can't believe anyone would reach for straws like this, but it is you. I can't believe I'm doing this either. All right, I'll follow along for now. Miss Andrews, please testify to the court about the guitar case. Yes, Your Honor. I don't remember too clearly because I was a bit dazed. I suppose I must have opened the guitar case. There you are! After I knocked the vase over. It's not a big deal though, right? The case was empty after all. As for why I opened the case, even I don't know. It looks like this really wasn't a very important point. This wastefulness is such a familiar feeling by now that it's almost comforting. Anyway, I'll just go ahead and start the cross-examination. Using anyway to change the topic. A convenient escape for a weak man. Oh! Degrade me more, edgy. Yes. I got you immediately. Girl, I don't even need to press your shit. I got you. Present. Guitar case. It only has Karita's fingerprints. There's no way you were the one who opened that guitar case. Why would you say that? It's elementary, my dear. Because the only fingerprints on this guitar case are those of the victims. Hi, Adrian. What is it, Miss Andrews? You shouldn't assume that I must have left prints just because I touched the case. What do you mean? What if I were to tell you that I was wearing gloves at the time? Gloves. But why would you be wearing gloves at that time? It was the night of the award ceremony, so of course I dressed up for the occasion. Yes, now I remember. I'm almost sure I was wearing a pair of thin gloves. I see. He said the funny line. What? Wait, what was the funny line? Did I just completely gloss over it? I see. Well, Mr. Wright, it seems this witness was wearing gloves at this... That's strange, because you left fingerprints on the glass. Girl keeps making up lie after McFucking-lie. John, hi! You were wearing gloves. Isn't that a little strange? Why is that strange? Do you have something that would prove I was not wearing gloves at the time? Oh, wait. Elementary? God, I don't even remember what he said. Like how elementary or something like that. I have your proof right here. This wine glass. Kids driving me up a wall. Oh, God, I'm sure. Oh, John, I'm so sorry. It's okay. Kids will do that. Just, I don't know. The wine glass. You left your fingerprints very clearly on this wine glass. Even if you took your gloves off when you poured yourself this glass of juice, wouldn't you think it was just a little strange that you put your gloves back on just to open the guitar case? Ugh. Oh, her glasses? Nah, her glasses did not just shatter and she pulled an extra pair out. Order! 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 Looks like you hit the nail on the head this time. What do you mean? I believe that guitar case plays a very important role here. But it's just an empty case. I wonder if it really was empty, though. But the guitar, the bright red guitar was at the studio. Phoenix, drop all your presumptions. What was in the guitar case was not the bright red guitar. You don't mean it was a bright white guitar? Wait, but that's not right either. Phoenix, you're fucking stupid, bruh. I admit it would be unnatural for someone to... I admit it would be unnatural for someone to do that. So, the witness was not wearing gloves, despite the fact that on the case... Your Honor, this is obviously the defense's usual misdirection tactic at work. Steer the court towards an unrelated topic and lull us all into his misguided... No, Your Honor. Please recall that Miss Andrews had testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case, which means that the case was closed when the crime took place. However, it is wide open in the photo of the scene in the crime scene. Yeah, Pookie's back! John, Pookie's back! Pookie's back! He's here! We met him. My guy, he's back. He is not dead, surprise. But Phoenix has been a dick to him. Phoenix is just a dick. Bitch. I am sure this guitar case has some relation to the murder. If you are so sure, right, then I'm sure you can somehow substantiate your outrageous claim, correct? Please enlighten us as to why that guitar case has anything to do with this murder. Can you do that, Mr. Wright? Well, let's suppose for a second that the bright red guitar was not the only thing that could have been in the case. The bright red guitar not being the only thing? You don't mean to suggest the bright black guitar was... So, you intend to push your theory that the case was not empty. Is that it, right? I wouldn't say something I didn't intend to prove. Deflate that head of yours. You haven't proven anything yet. Now then, let's have it. What was inside the case at the time of the murder? I genuinely have no fucking clue. Was it the nickel samurai costume? Oh my god. Oh, could she have premeditated it all the way back to, like, the beginning? We'll try. We'll give it a shot. This is a photograph. Yes. What it... Look at this photograph. The knife. No, the knife she wouldn't have been able to bring because she needed to get Matt Ongart's, the defendant. She needed his fingerprints all over it. It's the knife from his dinner plate. Yes, but what is important is what is in that picture, Your Honor. In this picture? It doesn't take a genius to see what I mean. What I am proposing is... Inside the guitar case was the Nickel Samurai, the hero's very own costume. What? Yeah. It was on his dinner plate. Mr. Wright, explain yourself. Right, are you saying that the witness opened the guitar case to take out a costume? What insane point would there be to doing something like that? That insane point would be to wear the costume, of course. Miss Andrews put it on to hide her identity so she could make her escape. After all, you couldn't let anyone see you leave, could you, Miss Andrews? I refuse to accept your theory. Do you have anything to support such a preposterous idea? Just outside the door was an investigative photographer who had been starving for a big scoop. And in the end, she managed to get this shot, correct? You mean this photo? Order! Order! Yay, dinner was not a good time? Wait, like for you or in the game? What'd you have for dinner? I assume the kids. It looks like we've wandered into quite another mess again, haven't we? Nice job, Phoenix. Well, you know my strategy. Speak first, think later. So the real murderer was hiding inside a costume. Wait 1 second, Your Honor. The Nickel Samurai's costume would have been Mr. Matt Engard's. Why would something of the defendant's be in the victim's room? And inside the guitar case, of all places? True. That is a little baffling. Mr. Wright, the court would like to hear your thoughts. What was this Nickel Samurai costume doing? It would have had to be a spare. Mr. Engard did not take his costume off during the break period. In that case, the costume we are talking about was a spare one. What? Then, are you saying that on the night of the murder, there were 2 Nickel Samurai costumes at the Gatewater Hotel? Yes, that is what I'm saying. And how do you explain the costume that was inside the guitar case? It would mean that the victim himself had brought this spare to the ceremony on purpose. But why? The victim, Mr. Kurita, was the Jammin' Ninja. Why would he secretly bring the Nickel Samurai's spare costume with him? What could be the reason behind such a peculiar act? Oh, maybe he did bring it himself because he was gonna confess something at the press conference, remember? Like after the conference, he was gonna confess. And Juan Kurita was gonna try to like frame something on him. The kids didn't eat. Oh no. And you had spaghetti? Yum! I want spaghetti. On my way. Any leftovers? What could be the reason behind such a peculiar act? And therein lies the sticking point. Well, what are you mumbling to yourself about now? Have you just been rambling all this time without any sense of inner monologue? Huh? No, I just... Mr. Wright, please explain yourself. Why do you think the victim had the Nickel Samurai spare costume? Phoenix, are you sure you can explain this one? Think carefully before you answer. And then answer with gusto. I believe in you. Alright, this is what I think. The reason the victim brought the Nickel Samurai spare costume to the hotel was... Oh shit. What is this? On the night of the murder, after the stage show, the Nickel Samurai was going to hold a special press conference. A press conference. Yes, the Nickel Samurai was supposed to confess something at this conference. I heard about this as well. For once, you're not making something up, right? But what struck me as strange was that Mr. Engard himself said he had no idea he was supposed to be holding... He had no idea he was supposed to be holding a press conference that night. But how can that be? The way I see it, that can mean only one thing. The conference was a setup. By none other than the victim, Mr. Juan Kurita himself. Oh well, I can't do anything about it now. We're having chicken tenders tomorrow. Oh, yeah, you literally cannot go wrong with chicken tenders. So, I get you. The victim? Yes. The spare nickel samurai costume was prepared for that very conference. Mr. Kurita was going to hold a press conference as the nickel samurai. He was going to dress up as the nickel samurai and hold a conference. But why would the victim do such a thing? That's something I don't know quite. I don't know yet. Wait, that's something I don't know quite yet. However, what I am concerned about with right now is what he intended to reveal at that conference. The nickel samurai was going to confess something. And by confess, I'd wager he was going to reveal something about himself. Which means that Juan Kurita, posing as nickel samurai, was going to speak about Matt Ongard. Yes, I guess that is what that would mean. But if that's the case, that's not a confession. That's public disclosure. Miss Andrews? I can see why you are pros at what you do. Pardon me? Yes, just as you say. The press conference was set up by Juan. Miss Andrews, please offer us an explanation for this. I was the one he asked to help set it up. And the person who prepared the second costume for him, that was also me. You. Juan had bet everything on the Jammin' Ninja this year. And if he lost the Grand Prix, he was going to make sure Matt was going down with him. That's what he thought, anyway. He was going to ruin him, huh? It looked like somehow Juan had in his hands a secret so powerful that it would destroy Matt's acting career had it been revealed. What? And do you know what the secret of Mr. Ongard's is, Miss Andrews? That's something only Juan knew. I don't know what it is. Ah, I see. I've probably been coming off quite suspicious to everyone. But that's to be expected. I've been trying to protect Matt, after all. Protect Mr. Ongard. And yet again, another strange bit of truth comes to light. Interesting, tell me the secret now. It seems... Miss Andrews, if you could, please tell us the truth about your behavior. Yes, Your Honor. I understand. Damn. We'll get you, bitch. I got you. Protecting Matt. From the moment I saw the crime scene, I had a feeling that Matt was the murderer. Matt had to kill Juan no matter what. And he didn't have an alibi for what he was doing at the time of the murder. My thoughts were confirmed by the evidence, of course. The button and the knife. But I'm Matt's manager, so I felt that I had to protect him. I love knowing things. The drama. This does account for everything. Well, I am the logical type. We're finally seeing her true self. She is more nervous than a scared rabbit. If the defense can find no fault with this testimony, I am ready to make a ruling. Please keep that in mind as you cross-examine, Mr. Wright. Looks like somehow everything is swung to the opposite end of the scale again. That just means I have to put my weight into this and turn her object upside down. Alright, now I can save. I haven't saved in a hot sec. It's only been 7 minutes since I saved last. I'm like, I haven't saved. From the moment I saw the crime scene, okay. Would you say that your intuition speaking to you? Don't confuse my methods of reasoning with your own. If you want to prove that someone did something, you need 3 things. 3 things? A motive, an opportunity to commit the crime, and finally, decisive evidence. And if you think these 3 things through, the answer becomes quite clear. You should have already known that, Phoenix. They didn't teach that to us in school, at least not from what I remember. May I continue now? Matt had to kill Juan no matter what. So, would you say this need came from the press conference? I could ban your voice and ruin this stream. We just get silence. It's okay. The ban, I think it lasts Does it have a timer on it? I'm pretty sure it lasts for like 5 minutes. Let me look. IRL voice ban? Wait, are you talking about banning in-game action or the voice ban? I was like, do you have 10k points? What does that even say? I'm actually so curious. Does the voice ban? So if it's the in-game action, you have, how? Oh my God. Damn, you be racking up them points. 14 stream streak. Oh, right. You were getting stream streak points and sub. Shit. You could. Oh God. Everybody has so many points. I need to bring, when I do, I'm planning a subathon, guys. And when I do, I'm gonna bring back the shots for 5k. It's gonna be soju, so it's only gonna be soju. But I have a lot of fun things planned, so I need to actually start making it. But it's gonna be an uncapped subathon. It could go really well, or it could go really like normal stream vibes. I don't have a streak. No, but John, you've been around for a long time. You've been around for a while. So it makes sense. Do you know why Juan chose that event in that hotel for the conference? Oh. Because that was when he could cause the most damage to the public's beloved Matt Engard. A hot minute. Yeah, you've been around for a while. And you knew of this plan, didn't you, Miss Andrews? Yes, because I was the one who set up the conference and prepared the costume. But I'm sure Mr. Engard himself didn't know anything about the press conference. Oh, really? Can you show me any proof that he didn't know about the press conference? I'm gonna save just in case. Twitter, why are you yelling at me, girl? No, I don't want to log into Chase. Stop. Bing bong bing. Okay. Anyway, the important thing here is that this information was not in your testimony. Yes, I agree. Miss Andrews, please correct your testimony, please. Grasping at straws now, are we, Mr. Wright? What if she is the killer? Like, what if she is actually the killer? And that one bellboy guy is not the killer? Can you fucking imagine? I know what his modus was, but I don't have any way to prove I'm right. Has Mr. Engard done something to hurt or betray you personally? Why do you ask? Oh, so John, Maya, our girl Maya has been kidnapped by a guy who goes by the killer. Like, I'm not even like being funny and being like, hee, she's probably the killer. She probably is the actual killer, but she's also probably, I don't know. She has the same card. You were the one who helped Mr. Credo with the press conference, and I was supposed to bring them Mr. Engard, yet you still helped out. The person on trial right now is Mr. Engard, right? What the witness was thinking, helping the victim with his plan, is none of our concern. Don't worry, I'm trying my damnedest. In any case, this means that the defendant had a motive to kill. Why do I keep doing this to myself? And he didn't have an alibi for what he was doing at the time of the murder. But didn't you already testify earlier that Mr. Engard was taking a nap in his room? Are you telling me now that that too was a lie so you could cover for Mr. Engard? I'm not telling you anything of the sort. When I went to get him for the show, he honestly was sleeping. However, as to whether he was sleeping the entire time, That I cannot say. I was too busy setting up the stage at the time. I keep trying, but I can find no flaws of the Miss Andrew has said. I can't say the same for some people in here in this courtroom, however. If Edgeworth never disappeared, this never would have happened. The judge is going straight at Mia. He's glaring at you, smart guy. My thoughts were confirmed. You can hardly call the knife decisive evidence. The fingerprints on the knife could very well be clever camouflage. Then, what about the button? The button. It's clear from the crime scene that the victim and the murderer fought. And during the fight, the killer ripped the button from the Jammin' Ninja's costume. You're talking about this button, right? That button was found in the pleats of Matt's Hakama, isn't that correct? I would think that it makes a very decisive evidence. Irk. Looks like you were outfoxed again, Mr. Wright. Anyway, the knife doesn't prove a thing. Please fix your testimony. I can't stand the sight of a man who can't gracefully accept his defeat. Thank goodness Mia can still look at me. With an icy stare, yes. Miss Andrews, for Mr. Wright's sake, please add this information to your testimony. That button was torn off. How do you know that? When the ends of the threads of the button and the costume were matched up, they were found to fit together perfectly. Or so I heard. I've heard that before too. But why would Miss Andrews know about this case down to such a fine detail? Don't look at me like that, just because I'm prepared and you are not. Ugh, and I thought I had her this time for sure. If there's anything to trip her up on, it has to be here. But where and what? But I'm Matt's manager, so I felt that I had to protect him. But what you really did was stab the guy in the back, didn't you? And at the worst possible time. Who's to say she really stabbed the guy in the back, as you put? This witness could have disclosed things about Mr. Engard at any time. Why then would she wait until there was a large audience before doing so? It's the same reason why Mr. Kurita planned such an elaborate conference. Miss Andrews wanted to cause Mr. Engard as much damage as she possibly could. This witness bears ill will toward the defendant. This isn't the Phoenix Wright wax philosophical power hour. And please, stop slandering the witness. As I expected, Miss Andrews' testimony seems pretty solid. No, Edgeworth, just chill, bro. Let's make out. Really? Because to me, it sounded a little wishy-washy. Wishy-washy? Well, I guess we'll see if I press a little more. You should know this by now, but you'll need strong, decisive evidence to make her talk. Got it, Chief. I'm gonna pin you down this time, Miss Andrews. Wait, did I let her go to jail? I'm trying. Oh. Why is Edgeworth the extra edgy? Okay, because the writing of this game just fucking hates us. And two, he just came back from the dead. And John, let me tell you this. Phoenix Phoenix straight up said, you should not have come back. You should have stayed dead. I'm actually, like, I do not know what. Hold on. What do I need to prove, though? I'm actually kind of stuck. I think I'm almost done with this part of the trial though, so I'm just gonna Google it. Justice for all. Case for walkthrough. The button was torn off. Oh. It's his autopsy report, y'all. This is the victim's autopsy report. It clearly states that the cause of death was strangulation by scarf. Strangulation? The knife stab to the victim was done after the victim had already died. And what does that mean? Let's examine the evidence. This button has the victim's blood on it, which would mean that it was ripped off the costume when? After the knife was stabbed into the victim. Exactly, which means it is impossible that this victim was torn off during the victim's final struggle, because the victim was strangled to death in that fight. That's right, Miss Andrews. There's no way this button was ripped off during the struggle. This button was consciously pulled off of the victim's already dead body. Order! Order! What is the meaning of this, right? So what if the button was torn off the body after the victim had already died? What does that change? Let me ask you one simple question, Mr. Edgeworth. Why was the button torn off? What purpose did that serve? What purpose? We now know that this button was not torn off during the fight. So the murderer took the time and effort to purposely rip this from the victim's body. That would mean that the murderer had something in mind, wouldn't it? Mr. Wright, does this mean you know what the murderer wanted to do with the button? He wanted to plant it on Engard to pin the crime. There's only one logical reason for doing something like that. It was to pin the crime on Mr. Engard. There's no way anyone would put a bloody button in their own pants. That's right, Mr. Engard was set up. By the real killer, of course. And the real murderer is? Well, Mr. Wright, who in the world is the real killer then? It's getting good. Finally. I can't believe I managed to bring this trial all the way up to this point. Phoenix, you can't let your guard down. Not yet. Not until the very end. The real killer, the person who planned to frame Mr. Engard, is Adrian Andrews. Miss Adrian Andrews, I choose you. You are Mr. Kurita's killer. But what? Order! 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 Mr. Wright. This is a very grave matter. Do you have any evidence that supports your charge? Any evidence? All of the evidence points to Miss Andrews. What? How preposterous! You can't stick any of that on me. I can't, can I? Would you care to test me? Then, what about this knife? The knife was used to stab the victim after he had already been strangled to death. It was used to throw suspicion onto Mr. Engard, naturally. A knife covered in the defendant's fingerprints could only be taken from his room. And the only one who had dinner with him and knew which knife to take was you. Then, what about the button that was found in Matt's Hakama? This button was removed from the victim's body after. Yeah, she just goes through so many pairs of glasses. Girl, that's not cheap. Also, are your eyes okay if they're shattering like that? After he had already died. The only people who could have done so were the person who found his body or the killer. However, if Mr. Engard was the real killer, there's no way he would have put such incriminating evidence in his own Hakama. Well, yeah. How many extra pairs of glasses does she have on her? The only person who could have put this button into Mr. Engard's Hakama is the person who went to wake him from his nap, which is you, yet again, Miss Andrews. I see. What about the empty guitar case? That is also another piece of evidence that incriminates Miss Andrews. That costume was used to hide the real killer's identity as they fled the scene. Now, who could have known that there was such a costume inside? She is guilty! Inside the guitar case. It could only have been the person who prepared the costume for the victim. And that person is you, Miss Adrian Andrews. No, But Miss Andrews' fingerprints were nowhere to be found on the guitar case. And it was you who proved that she was not wearing gloves at the time. That's right. That's because she did not intend on leaving any prints. If anyone had found out she touched the case, they would have asked her why. So to avoid it leaving any prints, she used a towel or something else to open it. But the glass of tomato juice is a different story. Miss Andrews purposefully left her fingerprints on the glass to show that yes, indeed, she was the classic Days discoverer of the body. Ah! And to top it all off, there's this photo. A photo of the killer as they exited the scene of the crime. No reasonable person on Earth can believe that this nickel samurai is Mr. Engard. He would be much too short for his own costume if it were him. Speaking of how tall people are, Miss Andrews, you're also kind of short in stature, are you not? But please, stop. Well, how about it, Miss Andrews? I've got her this time. Miss Andrews? I refuse to testify. What was that? There's a law. It says I can't be forced to testify about something if it can incriminate me. Girl, what? Well, yes. You are absolutely correct, Miss Andrews. The law does provide us with a way to avoid self-incrimination by allowing a witness to not testify if the testimony could cause damage to themselves. What? Pleading the fifth is not something most people would think to do on the spot. Gant moment. Real. God, fucking Damon Gant. Actually, thinking back to yesterday in Mr. Engard's room. Adrian Andrews. Yes? Think hard about what we just discussed. Understood? All right. That's it. That's when Francisca planted this idea into her head. She must have told Andrews not to testify if things looked bad. You did a good job proving everything up to this point, Phoenix. But there's still one thing you haven't done. Something I haven't done? Oh, he's so hot. Bark, bark, baby. What's wrong, right? Are you finished already? Run out of evidence. What is so humorous, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm sure you realize this as well, Your Honor. But everything the good lawyer here has proven up to this point is meaningless. What? Everything you have proven is circumstantial. Circumstantial. Yes, circumstantial. You have yet to provide a single piece of definitive proof. Proof that Miss Andrews did in fact harbor a wish to murder Mr. Carita. Edgeworth. Miss Andrews, did you want to kill Mr. Carita? I believe this may lead me to incriminating myself, so I will abstain from answering. But Miss Andrews, if you do that, it would be the same as admitting your guilt, don't you think? Maybe so, or maybe not. There is nothing to prove either way. Besides, you don't even know what crime I would be guilty of due to my silence. No! She's taking that defiant attitude again. Mia, what should we do? Somehow, we've landed in the worst possible situation. I think we've reached a certain conclusion at this point in time. Miss Adrienne Andrews has refused to testify, and the defense's theory that she is the actual murderer has not been fully substantiated with solid, definitive proof. But that's not true! In this situation, there's only one thing this court can do, and that is to declare a recess. Recess? I request that both the prosecution and the defense look further into this matter. And at tomorrow's trial... Tomorrow? Shit. We don't have a tomorrow. If we don't get a not guilty verdict today, then... Please wait, Your Honor. That's not necessary. The trial. Please continue the trial. What are you sweating for? Your client is getting one more day to live, isn't he? That's not it. This isn't about that. Edgeworth, I know you know who the real killer is. Please, let the trial continue. Oh, that's Phoenix. If I don't get the verdict, then Maya... Oh, he's slipping. But it's impossible to continue as long as the witness refuses to testify. Edgy's caught on. He's like, but Maya, what do you mean, but Maya? Now then, this course is... It is not impossible for this trial to continue. Mr. Edgeworth, what are you... It's true that Miss Andrews holds the right against self-incrimination. However, if the topic of conversation were something unrelated to whatever she may be guilty of, then she has no right to withhold testimony. Yes, that is very true, but... Actually, there's one little thing I'm curious about. Edgeworth is the best. That's my Pookie. Even though Phoenix told him he was better off staying dead, he still got our back. He's still... Okay. Miss Andrews. When you found the victim's dead body, you poured yourself a glass of juice. Yes, and? I can't help but think how unnatural that is. Usually, when one finds a body, they are shaken up, not stirring a glass of juice. So my actions were unusual, but I've already... Before you speak, I want to state that if you have a reason behind your actions, I would like you to testify to that effect. Testify? Your Honor, I would like to request that the witness testify again as to what happened when she first discovered the victim's body. Whatever we find out in this testimony should in no way implicate the witness. I don't know what it is about Edgeworth's day, but I can't get a good read off of him. Hee, that's our Pookie. Is he friend or foe? I just don't know. He just wants the truth to come out, babe. The court acknowledges the prosecution's request. Miss Andrews, if you please. When I found the body. Oh, God. Okay, we're close to finishing the this part of the trial. That glass of juice, I didn't really pour it for myself. I was surprised when I walked into the room and saw it in that messy state. And Juan, he was sitting slumped over and tired looking in the corner. When I saw him sitting like that, the thought that he was dead didn't cross my mind. To be honest, I thought he had just fainted or something, so I went to pour him some juice. When I realized that he was dead, that's when I knocked the flower vase over. So you poured that glass of juice for the victim. Why didn't you say so in your earlier testimony? I didn't think I needed to include something so trivial. Phoenix, please be careful here. If you can't find anything wrong with this testimony, then there's nothing left. I know. Edgeworth, what the heck is going on in that brain of yours? He got protecting his Pookie Bear. Not really, but I'm delusional. Now then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination. Okay, so she said something about the crime scene. When I saw him sitting like that, the thought that he was dead didn't cross my mind. Girl, what? He had a knife sticking out of him. So you honestly didn't think he was dead when you found him? No, not at all. Even though this is what you saw when you discovered the body. What is the meaning of this? Isn't it obvious, Your Honor? There is a knife sticking straight out of Mr. Kurita's chest. Anyone who saw this scene would have immediately thought that here was a dead man. Well, you see, I doubt a single person in the world would mistake this for someone who fainted, and then so nonchalantly go pour something to drink. Also, the fact that she just went to pour him a drink even if he fainted? Bruh? Miss Andrews, your testimony just now was all one giant lie. Ugh. Your lie has proven one thing very clearly. That you are the real killer. No! Oh, so good. It looks like the defense has somehow brought the ugly truth to light. The defendant, Mr. Matt Ongard, is not guilty after all. But that's impossible. You're wrong. Close the book. It's over. I wish it was fucking over. But that's impossible. You're wrong. Miss Andrews, try to have some composure. It wasn't me. It wasn't me, I tell you. It was Matt. I swear it. He's the one who killed Juan. But you were the one who refused to testify. And your reason for not doing so was that you might end up incriminating yourself. That's because... Miss Andrews, I will give you one last chance. What exactly are you hiding that may incriminate you? I refuse to testify. Then there is no need for the court to continue any further. Mr. Matt Ongard's innocence has been clearly demonstrated. Is it over? Have we found the truth at last? What's wrong, Phoenix? Usually the real killer confesses his or her guilt. And now that I think about it, this is the first time someone hasn't. Is she actually? I'm so confused. Are we gonna meet someone new? Well, it did that in case 3, where we didn't meet the actual killer until the second day of investigation. So maybe we still have a whole ass person to meet. Now then, I would like to hand down my verdict for Mr. Matt Ongard. Your Honor, the prosecution feels that it would be premature to pass down a verdict at this time. But what? The reason is quite simple. This witness has yet to speak the absolute real truth. Okay, what if, crazy theory. We're going real crazy here, guys. What if Celeste impacts. I don't know. No, it's just too crazy. I was like, what if she didn't actually kill herself? I don't know. No, it's gone. It's gone. It's too cray-cray to even think about. The absolute real truth. What are you... Witness. Don't you understand yet? Huh? I don't know who planted this silly idea in your head, but as long as you protect yourself through your silence, Matt Ongard will go free. And in his place, you will become the guilty party. That's a lie. I don't believe you. What? I was told if I spoke, then it would be all over, and Matt would never be declared guilty. But what in the world is she talking about? Has she lost it? I can't speak about it. I'm too scared. It's Franziska von Karma. Huh? Don't you remember, Phoenix? Miss Andrews lives by gripping tightly onto the words of another, because she doesn't have the strength to believe in herself. Then, right now, Miss Andrews is... Yesterday, she was tossed a lifesaver by Miss von Karma. Don't say a word. No matter what you do, no matter what happens, if you do, Matt Ongard will be acquitted. Miss Andrews was undyingly believes in those words right now and is clinging on to them. Then what should we do? This is the first time I've ever come across something like this. But Miss Andrews has to be the killer, right? All we have to do now is get our not guilty. That's my only priority. Ooh. It wasn't me. I'm begging you, please believe me. I didn't kill Juan. Help. Please, someone. Help me. Oh, this is actually kind of sad. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. The court can't continue on like this. Therefore, I'd like to hear what you intend to do. What I intend to do? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to say? Right. I suggest you think very carefully about this. Think about what this witness did and what she did not do. And think about who is the real mastermind behind this crime. Who's the real mastermind? Isn't that obvious? There's no one else it could be but the crying woman, the woman crying over there. Right? Come now. What will you do? What kind of man are you? Is there a special ending if we request not guilty, or is it just instant game over? I'm so curious. I have to win a complete acquittal today. There's no way around that. But I can't bring myself to do it like this. Not when she's making a face like that. Miss Andrews, I would like to know what you're really hiding. Mr. Wright, are you sure you know what you're doing? Sure, Mr. Ongard would get an acquittal, but in his place, you would be found guilty. Is this how you really want this trial to end? But be quiet. How dare you? You're trying to trick me. That's enough. I commend you for trying, Mr. Edgeworth. However, it's clear that the defense's theory is the truth. You're wrong. What a shame. I had hoped things wouldn't come to this, however. What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? Miss Andrews, since you absolutely refuse to testify, it falls on my shoulders to disclose this to the court. Stop. Mr. Edgeworth? This witness, how should I put it? Oh, she has an illness? Bruh. What? And because of this illness, she has tried to commit suicide in the past. Stop. Please stop. No matter how much you want to hide it, it's no use. Hotline of Fate! That's so good. I have the evidence right here. Ah, that's the second part of the suicide report. The attempted suicide report. The attempted suicide report. What will you do now, witness? You know what I'm about to do, don't you? I will now reveal to the court the true nature of the pitiful woman known as Adrienne Andrews. The secret of her dependent nature. Having other people know about it scares her more than anything else in the world. Please, please stop. I beg you. If people find out, I'll... If you're gonna say you would choose death, that is of no concern to me. Edgeworth, how can you be? Bruh, you... My brother in Christ. You cannot say those words. Not when you straight up told Edgeworth he should have stayed dead. Woo, testing my patience. Woo, it's too much. It's too much. However, before you die... Oh, yeah, Phoenix also accused Adrian. He almost locked her away for life. However, before you die, I will pull the truth from your still breathing lips. No matter what I have to do. So, will you tell the court yourself or shall I? Either is fine with me. I'll talk. But please, help me. Aw. Nothing matters anymore. Ooh, here it is, here it is, here it is. Ah! When I first saw him, I really thought he had fainted. Honest. When I realized he was dead, that was when I formulated my plan. Once I made sure there was no one in the hallway, I made a dash back to Matt's room. And then I stabbed Juan's dead body with the knife and ripped off the button. Just when I finished and was returning to Matt's room, I had a bit of an inconvenience. And that's why I ended up using the nickel samurai costume. She didn't kill him, but she set Matt up. Stabbed the body with the knife? But why would you do that? Isn't it obvious? To pin the blame on a certain person. A certain cowardly man. What do you mean by all this? It might take this court a little while to understand, but... This is the truth. The real killer is Matt. That scumbag of a man. I'll never forgive him. He's trying to escape his guilt again, just like last time. So, Miss Andrews stabbed the victim, Juan Carita, in the chest with the knife. However, she didn't do it with murder in mind. She did it with the intent of framing Matt Ongard for the murder. And this is her crime. What? How is this possible? I mean, wasn't Miss Andrews supposed to be the real murderer? Mr. Wright, please get over your shock and commence the cross-examination. I feel like we're not going to be able to get away from a day 2. It's just not going to happen. We're going to have a second day trial. As soon as we finish this episode, I'm hopping off, by the way. We're not going into the next one. Oh yeah, we're just going to press her. But you could tell from the state the room was in that there must have been a fight. Are you telling the truth when you say you did not know he was dead? He had a scarf tied around his neck. But that scarf is part of the Jammin' Ninja's costume, so I didn't think anything about it was strange. His head was also tilted down a bit, so I couldn't see his face that well. That's why I thought I'd wake him up, and went to pour the juice. When I realized he was dead, Juan Carita probably told her that Matt Ongard was the reason that Celeste killed herself. What is this plan you had? I knew right away the murderer was Matt. I knew because he was going to expose Matt's weakest weak point to the world. So Matt did this to stop Juan and silence him for good. That's when I thought I should forge some evidence and pin this crime on Matt. So the forged pieces of evidence were the knife and the button. The first thing that came to mind was to plant the knife. Once I made sure there was no one in the hallway. That was so you could get the knife, correct? The knife Matt used at dinner had his fingerprints all over it. I thought if I used that, then the police would certainly turn their eyes towards him. Matt was napping with his costume on at the time. I slipped in, took the knife, and returned to the scene of the crime. And then, yep, she stabbed him. So you were the one to stab the victim with the knife. It gives me goosebumps to think about it now. What a horrible thing I did. But at the time, I couldn't control my own body. Then, when I stabbed Juan's dead body, I suddenly realized something. If I use the button somehow, I can make Matt look even more suspect. So you thought to rip one of the buttons off and then plant it in Mr. Onguard's Hakama. Yes, that's what I had planned to do. But things never go that smoothly, do they? That was Lotta, wasn't it? An inconvenience. There was a woman with a camera at the ready, loitering in the hallway. I'm willing to bet my spikes it was Lotta. There was also a woman with a ray gun at the ready, pacing back and forth. That's Miss Oldbag for you. I had already been caught and made into a big scoop for a certain weekly tabloid once, so I couldn't very well go out looking like myself and get caught again. Ended up using the Nickel Samurai costume. You were the one who prepared the costume, weren't you? Yes, I took it from Global Studios. I also put it in Juan's guitar case the day before the award ceremony. You did this in preparation for the press conference, correct? Yes. Juan wanted to wear that costume and hold a press conference in it. He was going to disclose Matt's big secret there. And what is this secret? That I don't know. Anyway, I thought that if I were to leave Juan's room in the Nickel Samurai costume, then people would think that Matt was the real murderer. I was very careful not to leave any fingerprints when I opened the guitar case. I absolutely did not want anyone to know about the costume. I think we've heard enough. So, after that, you went back to Mr. Onguard's room and planted the button. Into Matt's Hakama? Yes. After that, I folded up the costume I was wearing and put it in the bag. Then I snuck it out of the hotel and got rid of it. But my word, what does all this mean? Mr. Edgeworth, is it? The real criminal is Matt Onguard. Yesterday, that woman prosecutor sat me down for a talk. Francisca, huh? She said that I should, under no circumstances, confess what I'd done. That if I just kept quiet, then Matt would be found guilty for sure. I had no choice but to believe in her words. Yikes! What this witness has done is clearly unlawful. However, as long as her testimony stands, we can be certain she is not the real killer. But wait, Your Honor. The defense still... Right. It's pointless. At this point, it is not possible to indict Miss Andrews on anything. Yes, exactly. There isn't a single piece of evidence that points to her as the murderer. The cross-examination of the witness is over, and so is today's trial. You couldn't establish if the witness was the culprit. Please let it go, Mr. Wright. But... Mr. Edgeworth, please place Miss Andrews under arrest for further questioning. Understood, Your Honor. The prosecution will remain arranged for her detention immediately. That is all. Court is adjourned for today. Oh, the drama. Oh god, this is actually low-key stressful. Today's trial. It's over. And I didn't win an acquittal. But we did get that scene of Maya trying to run away. Witness, would you mind if I asked you something? Edgeworth. What is it? Before you leave court today, I wondered if I might look at one thing. The card in your hand. It's had my interest for quite some time now. What exactly is it? Oh, this? Mr. Wright also asked about this. Although I didn't remember at the time you asked me about it, Mr. Wright. I remembered just now. I found this in the room on that day. The room? That day? Yes. I found this card when I discovered Juan's body. It was lying there right next to him. He found that card next to the victim's body. I suppose I must have unconsciously slipped it into my pocket. But it's not as if this card has any relevance to Juan's murder, right? Yeah, I guess not. But it's still a strange card if you ask me. But as far as a clue to this case, I don't see why. Witness, That card. Give it to me. Hurry. Oh, shit. Edgeworth? Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Do you have any idea what you have stupidly, yet inadvertently done? This... I can't believe you hid this from me all this time. I didn't mean to. What is this all about? I've never seen Edgeworth so emotional before. Give us the reveal. That card. What in the world is it? And what does it mean? They would. Oh, these motherfuckers. Save my progress. Oh my god. Oh yeah, I know. Everyone's crying now. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Oh my god. Thank you guys for hanging out. John and Pixie. We are into the thick of it. Into the thick of it. Oh, yeah. It's... Oh my god. I just want to finish this case. I'm just so curious. I'm so curious. Oh, yeah, no, ×2. Yeah, John. Yeah. Yeah, buddy. Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna end stream for tonight. I am off the next 2 days because it's double D&D night. But I will be back on Friday with probably Phoenix Wright. Oh, did I just... No, I didn't. With probably Phoenix Wright because I'm back on... I'm on my bullshit right now. Once we start Trials and Tribulation, that's when it's going to be really fucking hard. I'm going to be like, how am I supposed to... How am I supposed to live without you? I'm like, how am I gonna stop? Especially when we get to case 5, it's over for me when we hit case 5. The one time that I played that case, I played it start to finish nonstop, stayed up the entire night. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Hey, it's me. Oh yeah, it is you. I'm in the notifications. You are, because it's Discord. My Discord notifications. Plus my PC Game Pass and my restart repair drive errors. There you are. Talking. That's from ages ago too. That's when we were talking about the portraits too of you're just that important. Exactly. You're just in my notifications forever. You just stay here. You're just there. I'm pretty sure if I click this. Oh no. Well, yeah, look, it's mostly you. It's mostly you. Minus Probot and Ash. Trapped. Yeah, trapped. No. Oh, God. Okay, everybody. I'm a yapper. I am too. That's why I haven't ended stream yet. That's why I stream, is because I need somewhere to yap. I need somewhere and people to yap at. Anyway, I'm going to hop off. Thank you for hanging out, and I will see you all on Friday. Bye.